Don't know what just happened there. A little bit of technical difficulty. The video just stopped. So, but anyway, let's get in to the rankings for Arena Football, the preseason rankings for 2026. We're going to start at 25. We're going to cover 5 at a time, give a little bit of an analysis on those 5, and then move on. Starting at the bottom, 25, we have the Wheeling Miners. 24, San Antonio Gunslingers. 23, Arkansas Diamonds. 22, Fishers Freight. 21 is the Southwest Kansas Storm. So, I feel like for the Miners and the Diamonds, I feel like they could both very foreseeably win their leagues this year. They're, of course, both not in Big 3 leagues, and thus obviously not going to be ranked as high as like even a like semi-good IFL or AF1 or NAL team. But I feel like if the Diamonds were to go undefeated, if the Miners were to go undefeated, I wouldn't count out a national title for them. Just to let you guys know that. For the Gunslingers and the Freight, I think they're both huge maybes. Coming into this year, it's like they could be really good or they could be really bad. And then for the Storm, I think that they're going to be an NAL title contender. I don't think that they're going to win an NAL title, but I think that they're definitely going to be up there. They're definitely going to be in the title picture for the whole season. Moving on, at 20, we have the Oregon Lightning. 19, Tucson Sugar Skulls. 18, Colorado Spartans. 17, West Michigan Ironmen. And 16 is the Orlando Pirates. The Lightning, they had a pretty solid year last year. I think they're going to have another pretty solid year this year. I don't see a playoff appearance with the new ads that the AF1 just made in the Minnesota Monsters from the Arena League and the Beaumont Renegades from the National Arena League. They have 3 defending champions in their league with also the Albany Firebirds, and then the Nashville Cats are always a really solid team too. So I think that the Lightning are going to struggle to compete against those 4 teams. However, they do play in a weak division with the Bombers and the Washington Wolfpack, and so I do think they'll get a lot of wins from there. And I think that could even help propel them into the AF1 playoffs. And I think that if any team is going to surpass the Monsters or the Cats or the Renegades, I don't think anybody's surpassing the Firebirds. I don't think it's even possible. But if anybody's going to surpass one of those teams and get into the playoffs out of the teams that are considered to not be in that upper echelon, I do think that it's the Lightning. Sugar Skulls are pretty much the same as the Freight and the Gunslingers. Could be one of the best teams in the IFL. Could be one of the worst teams in the IFL. Only time will tell. The Spartans, almost always underrated, and then they almost always overperform. I expect that out of them again this year. The West Michigan Ironmen, another team that with an undefeated season and a league title could shock the world and become national champions. We'll have to see how that plays out, but I wouldn't count it out. I do see the Ironmen coming very close to undefeated, but they're going to have to be pretty perfect to win a natty. And then Orlando Pirates played in the IFL title game a few years ago, did not win it. Recently moved from Massachusetts to, as you can probably guess, Orlando. And I feel like the name already fit pretty well. I really like their uniforms, so I'm definitely going to be rooting for them. Obviously, won't show any favoritism for them. If anything, I'll be like taking a point off because I know them or something. But, yeah, I feel like if anybody in these teams that we've gone through so far is going to climb the ranks and win a national title, it's going to be the Pirates. Moving on, in 15th, we have the Columbus Lions. In 14th, we have the Tulsa Oilers. In 13th, we have the Sioux City Bandits. In 12th, we have the San Diego Strike Force. And in 11th, we have the Omaha Beef. The Lions are in the same boat as the Ironmen, Diamonds, and Miners. I do think that they play in the most competitive non-Big Three league this year. I feel like the Arena League is always kind of competitive, especially now that the Monsters aren't in the league anymore. It's going to be a big toss-up, but I think the Diamonds are, out of those teams, the best one. The Ironmen are going to steamroll the AIF. I see they could maybe get upset once just because of how hard it is to be perfect, but I don't see anybody other than the Ironmen winning an AIF title this year. I just don't. But then for the Lions, I do think that them going undefeated and potentially winning a national title is somewhat probable. But I do think that the Miners will have something to say about that, and I can't wait for the Lions and the Miners to play each other this year. That's going to be a good game. But yeah, if any non-Big Three team is going to win a national title this year, odds are it's going to be the Lions. And then the Oilers, again, pretty much in the same boat as almost every IFL team we've covered so far. Could be really good, could be really bad. Time will tell, you know. And then 13th, Sioux City Bandits, and 11th, Omaha Beef. I feel like them and the Salina Liberty and the Colorado Spartans and the Southwest Kansas Storm are all going to just be really fun to watch this year. I do think that the NAL is the third out of three in the Big Three. However, I do think that the NAL is going to be the most fun league to watch this year. And the Beef Bandits rivalry is, in my opinion, the best rivalry in arena football. So I can't wait to watch how that's going to play out. Some people might be surprised that I am not predicting the Beef, or I'm not putting the Beef in the top 10. I'm not predicting them at the top of the NAL standings. They are still very much the team to beat in the NAL, and they will be for the next few years unless they show signs of falling off in the next few years, which I don't think they will. The Liberty are very good, though. So, Beef and Liberty is the main matchup I'm looking forward to seeing, but Beef Bandits can be really good, too. And I feel like if anybody is going to topple the Beef and the Liberty this year, it's going to be the Bandits. And then San Diego Strike Force, I feel like they're kind of the bridge between the, like the rest of the West being not really that good in IFL standards, and then like the Rattlers and the Nighthawks being like the upper echelon of the IFL, at least in the West. I feel like they're kind of the middle ground between that. They're good, they're very good, they're just not great. And they're going to need to be great if they want to make a title run. I think them making a title run is less likely than the Pirates, just with who they will have to go up against with the Rattlers and the Nighthawks. But they would, if you're looking for a Cinderella team to root for this year, they are absolutely the team to pick. Moving on, in 10th we have the Jacksonville Sharks, 9th we have the Minnesota Monsters, and then heading into the title picture, 8th we have the Nashville Cats, 7th we have the Salina Liberty, and 6th we have the Quad City Steamwheelers. Jacksonville had a really good National Arena League run after leaving the AFL for the NAL. they haven't really, I believe, shown their whole potential in the IFL yet. But they could. And I think that if their year is going to come, that it's gonna be this year or soon. Because the Sharks last year, we saw them start to kind of figure it out in the IFL. And this year, I feel like they are going to be a sneaky team that nobody really expects to win a title, but that is going to be a threat to teams like the Blizzard and the Steam Wheelers and the Rattlers and the Nighthawks. The Monsters, defending TAL champions, potentially they're either going to be like the best team in the AF1 or they're going to be like disappointing and like underperform. I feel like the Monsters haven't really ever played a team as good as them. They've lost a couple of games in the Arena League, but all of them were upsets and flukes. I feel like the Arena League did lose a big piece of the league when they lost the Minnesota Monsters to the AF1. I think it's a great ad for the AF1 because the Monsters do deserve to prove that they belong in the conversation of best team in the country with all these big three teams. And the IFL wasn't going to pull the trigger on them anytime soon. So the AF1 doing it, making their league much more competitive. I think it's a really smart move by the AF1. Nashville Cats, again, they're always a pretty solid team. They've always been right there. They just haven't been able to get past the Firebirds. We'll see if they can this year. Salina Liberty, sort of the same boat as the Cats for the past few years. They've been one of the best teams in the AFL 2024 and last year in the AF1. And I think that they're going to win an NAL title this year. I really do. And the Steam Wheelers, they've also been like almost there, but just not quite to the top of the IFL yet. And I feel like it's soon. It's soon, Steam Wheelers fans. It's very soon. And then moving on to our top 5 teams in arena football heading into the 2026 season. In 5th, we have the Beaumont Renegades. In 4th, we have the Vegas Nighthawks. In 3rd, we have the Albany Firebirds. In 2nd, we have the Arizona Rattlers. And in 1st, we have the Green Bay Blizzard. Blizzard came up just short against the Nighthawks last year. I think that this year could very well be their year to right that wrong. Rattlers are I'm always going to predict the Rattlers to have some kind of success, no matter how bad they've been, which they weren't bad last year, but they're always a scary team to face. They're the dynasty in arena football right now. Firebirds are giving them a run for their money as the dynasty, though, and really Albany football in general. Before that, they had the Empire, which won an Arena Bowl, won an NAL title or two. Then the Firebirds, great season in the AFL, just barely came short to the Outlaws in the Arena Bowl, and then went unbeaten last year, won the Arena Crown. I think they're going to do it again. But if one team can stop them, if there's any one team that can stop the Firebirds from repeating, from going undefeated, from winning the Arena Crown, it's the Beaumont Renegades, and I'm so hyped. I'm so excited for those teams to play each other. That's going to do it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I don't know when exactly I'm going to be getting in the arena out. I don't know if it's even going to be today or before the game. I'm going to try, but I do have sports tonight, and I've been having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we'll see, but stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and remember to raise the flags. Goodbye.